Hi, hello, it's Nikki and welcome to my messy bookshelf. Today I'm here to share my weekly reading wrap-up, and it is also the middle of the month, so I thought I would check in and share how I am doing with the different reading events that I'm participating in. So the first book that I read, actually, this is the only one that I actually completed. So the first book that I read was toward middle grade March, and that is The Witch's Boy by Kelly Barnhill. This is a book that has been sitting on my shelf for quite a long time. I'm talking years here. So I read The Girl Who Drank the Moon a few years ago, and I adored that book. So I picked this one up, and it has sat on my shelf for a very long time. So this is a TBR veteran for me. I don't know why it sat there for so long. I even picked up The Ogress and the Orphans after I purchased this book, and I read that one and loved it as well. So I decided to give this one a try for middle grade March, and yeah, I am glad that I did. So this book, we are following our main character, a little boy named Ned, and he is an identical twin, and one day he and his twin brother decide to make themselves a raft and go on an adventure on the river. Unfortunately, their raft capsizes, and only one of them makes it out of the river. People in the town and the village that they come from say that the wrong boy survived. His mother, their mother, is the local community witch. She does lots of healing and lots of good around their little village that they live in. Meanwhile, we have the bandits who live in the forest, and the bandit king has a little daughter named Ain, and this bandit king is after the magic that Ned's mother possesses as the local witch. Through a series of circumstances, Ned and Ain meet, and because of what happens, they have to make their way through the very creepy and terrifying forest. So this is a forest that the community has been terrified of. Both communities have been terrified of for a very long time, and so they have to make it through safely. And I will be honest, there was a point towards the middle of this book that something happened that I was so unhappy with that I almost considered putting this book down. But I am so glad that I pushed through, because especially towards the ending, it just got so good, and I ended up loving this. So 3 for 3, Kelly Barnhill is 3 for 3 for me. All 3 books that I have read, I have adored. And I highly recommend this one for anyone that is interested in middle grade books. It was charming, it was sad, it was sweet, and the ending was so heartwarming. So I loved it. So as far as middle grade March is concerned, I have actually fulfilled all of the prompts for middle grade March already, but I'm going to continue because I am not tired of middle grade yet. The beauty of middle grade for me is that you can find middle grade about any number of topics, so it just doesn't get old for me. But yeah, The Witch's Boy was the only book that I actually completed, but I did make progress in some other books that I am reading as well. And the next book is This Earthly Globe, and this is a book that I picked it up because I wanted to have a nonfiction for the month, and I am so glad that I did. I'm about a little over halfway done with this, and I will probably finish it in the next couple of days because I have not enjoyed a nonfiction book, I think, this much since I read The Wager and Endurance and Longitude last year. So this is so fascinating. So this is the story of a very little known to me court official, government official in Venice who has been studying geography, and he he realizes that the maps from the classical era are pretty outdated and they are not very good. And he makes it his mission to compile the most modern, up-to-date, and accurate atlas. And he is compiling information from a variety of sources, and it is so fascinating, and it's also been very fun to me to see where he's getting all of his information from. There have been a few a few people that he has been interacting with to gather diaries, logs, and travel accounts from people that I have read about in other books. So it was very fascinating. hearing about one individual who was in the book that I read about Magellan's circumnavigation of the world, and one of his followers and a person that was on the voyage. There was a lot about him in that book that I read, and here we are hearing about his diaries. So it was very fascinating, and I am loving it. It is fast-paced, it is entertaining, and it is very informative. I am loving it. There was even some stuff about Lucretia Borgia in here, and a lover that she had, who is also in this book. So super fascinating, fast-paced, and a fairly quick read. So if you are looking for a very entertaining and readable nonfiction, I highly recommend this one as well. The next thing that I have been reading, and I haven't made a lot of progress, I have been reading maybe a chapter a day or every couple days, and that is Don Quixote, and I am enjoying it. So I am going to continue with this. I have not picked up the other mammoths that I had chosen for this month, but this is a book that I chose for March of the Mammoths, and because I am trying to get through at least one classic book a month. I have to say, I was not expecting this to be so absurd. The main character is very absurd, and the adventures that he's getting into are ridiculous. So it is funny, and I was not expecting that much, or it to be that funny. So I hope that I enjoy this as much as I think I am going to, and yeah, good choice for me, I think. He is going on lots of adventures. Now, what I am on to read next is Dead Voices by Katherine Arden, and this is book 2 in the Small Spaces series. I read Small Spaces last week and loved it enough that I decided to pick up this one because it was on my shelf. So I plan on reading that one this week, and hopefully I enjoy it as much as the first one, because but I don't know very much about what this is about. I just know that it includes the same characters from the first one, so I loved the first one. And then I have not read any mystery this month, but the next one that I am off to read, the next book, is Still Life. I am finally planning on getting to Still Life by Louise Penny, and this is the first book, I believe, in the Inspector Gamache series, and I don't know anything about it except that it takes place in Canada, so I am looking forward to this. I have never heard anyone say anything negative about this series, and on the contrary, everyone who talks about this talks about how much they love it, so I thought it was time that I gave it a try, and what better time than during March Mystery Madness. So hoping to get at least one mystery in my reading this month. And I think that is pretty much it. Secret Garden we have stalled on a little bit because my daughter is reading other things, but we are gonna continue slowly chipping away at that for the rest of the month. But yeah, that is what I have been reading, what my plans are, and a little check-in for the reading events that I am participating in. And yeah, I thank you if you made it to the end of this video, and I hope to see you in the next one. Take care. Bye.